It's sort of a simple question to start, and I just want to ask a couple of questions, and then I do want to get to questions from the audience, so get ready. The film is so topical and exploring so many topical themes and ideas. Maybe you could give us a little bit of an introduction to where some of the original concepts came from.
Can I speak Japanese?
Of course.
Yeah. 最初にこのストーリーを作ったのはもう12、3年前なんですけど、その時は少年と少女が出会ってコミュニケーションをうまくできなくて、それを助けるために、フレンドっていう生き物が、日本の妖怪っていう状態で出てきて、その妖怪が街に発生しすぎて、大事件が起きるっていうストーリーでコンピュータグラフィックのアニメーションを作ろうと思ったんですけど、なかなかうまくいかなかったんですが、震災後震災とあと福島の原発の事故を絡めると、そのストーリーがすごいギュッと締まってきてリアリティを帯びてきたので、その十数年前のアイディアと震災の後の状況を合体して、作り上げました。
So at first I thought of this story, original concept, 12 or 13 years ago now. And in that original story, it was a boy meets a girl, but they have a problem communicating due to a lot of circumstances. And in order to facilitate their communication, these strange creature called friends, come out, and through the creature, which is like a yokai, Japanese traditional specter, they will start to communicate, but this friend creature start to emerge too much that would start causing a problem in this community. And I was trying to make this film in the CGI animation, but it was many years of efforts and it wasn't going anywhere. And then the earthquake disaster happened and the Fukushima happened. And by incorporating this into the storyline, it started to become a very realistic story. So the idea from more than 10 years ago, combined with this more recent happenings, has come to this.
Often when we talk about narrative films, we talk about the casting, but in this case I want to ask you about the imagination of these characters, and I wonder if when you conceived of the idea more than a decade ago, if you already imagined what some of the different characters would look like, or how the characters evolved over that time, and how and when they crystallized for you.
このクラゲ帽はクラゲ帽とめめめのクラゲというタイトルは最初に絵画作品があって、それもやっぱり10年ぐらい前だったんですけど、このクラゲ帽はもう100歳以上の痩せっぽっちのおじいさんだったんですが、映画の企画を作るにあたって、準備期間が4ヶ月ぐらいしかなくて、その間にいろいろ可愛らしいキャラクターをたくさんデザインしなきゃいけなくて、結構もう行き当たりばったりっていうか、もう急いで全部デザインして、でその後にストーリーを少しずつキャラクターもどんどん役割分担も決めていったような形でした。
So originally, both Kuragebo, the jellyfish boy, and the title of the film, Jellyfish Eyes, they actually came from my paintings, painting works, more than 10 years ago also. And in the original concept of this story, Kuragebo used to be, 100-plus-year-old, thin, emaciated old man. Nothing cute, but in the actual production of the film, in the 4 months while I was working on the stories and everything, I had to come up with a lot of cute characters. So it was not very systematic. I had to design many different new characters, and then after that, I started really developing and understanding the stories and gave each of the characters more of a specific roles, and that's how it evolved.
Elaborating on that, we see characters in this movie that are familiar to those who have seen your work, but I wonder if you could talk about adapting them for this medium, adapting them for this screen to be seen in the way that they will here. Can you talk with us a little bit about the creative process of taking them from some of the original designs and then adapting them to this world?
this movie, the most difficult point is we direction for the computer graphics stuff. So because for example, Miss Coco is we created in sculpture. So, but in technically, the Japanese computer graphic design is not perfect yet. So that means that we have to say no a very long time. So and then the one guy came to the really good animator. So he created for the good move. That's why the modeling is not perfect, but animation is good. That's why we can see very realistic the characters. So make sense the answer? Yeah.
Well, and I wonder, I don't know how easy this question will be to answer, but I'm wondering, in your creative process, we can take Miss Coco, for example. When you conceive of a character or the look of a character, are you already imagining how it might move, how it might sound, how it might interact in the world, or to what extent does your imagination for a character evolve over time?
My answer simply say no. So like
Okay.
but when I was making a Miss Coco, the character, she has a storyline. So she was in under control Japanese self-defense guard force. So she's a weapon. So and she transformed the weapon, and also she's a part-time job in karaoke, the club stuff. So that was my original story. But everything is this production is we have no time, so that's why I have to put in whole characters in this film, because Oval, the big monster stuff, the name came from the my big sculpture too. So, but I want to making many layers. Very in the storyline is very simple. That's why each character and each monster having many storyline. So that's why I have to put in all the characters from my pieces.
One more question from me, and then we'll have questions from the audience. We see the trailer at the end of the movie for the continuation. This is imagined as a three-part, as a trilogy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Have you, before you made this movie, had you already conceived already directly where the story will go in all three parts, or is it still evolving? Do you know where it ends up? Do you know where it will lead?
No. When I created for the part one is not. I didn't thinking about part one, but end of the movie. So I getting many ideas because Jellyfish Eyes part in the story, original story came from the animation stuff. Is a boy meets girl, and kind of the love story with the monsters, but. I combine with the Fukushima disaster, so that means we can make much more deeper, kind of the Japanese political situation and kind of the journey of the boys and the girls. So that's why okay, so I can make in continuing, and also I love the kind of the mechanic. Like Star Wars stuff. That's why I want to make in storyline in a mechanism in the Japan, because we used to making kind of the Godzilla stuff. So many mechanic in in Japan has, but in late 70s we cannot find out some reality, because we had a very confusing situation in after World War II. That's why we created for the monster movies. But the economy is grow up, and people is people feeling is come down, and very getting a happy feeling. That means we comes our culture comes up the Pokemon or really small stuff. So. But now, so I think kind of the revival, and also the reality is very, confusing in social and exactly the radiation stuff is really realistic, problem. That's why we can making a game for the, the kind of feeling the early 70s. Looks like Cold War, Vietnam War, and also the, very, very confusing situation in Japan.
Well, it's interesting that it's interesting to imagine your take being both critical and optimistic at the same time, because I see both themes playing out in this film.
Yeah, because the boys and girls, the storyline is have to making a positive.
Yeah.
So, but the reality is super negative. So, but we have to say to the kids, so please believe yourself.
Right.
So that's why, and also when I was watching the movies and the TV program in Japan, so almost same theme, like scenario writer and the director was almost give up in the society, but same time having a little bit hope. So the hope is stupid, but we knew. So but we have to say something in a hope. That is kind of the entertainment.
Yeah. Very
I
good.
think, yeah.
Well, let's take questions from the audience, and I believe we have some microphones. So after you are chosen for a question, just wait for a second till the microphone comes to you, and we'll go to the gentleman in the front row first, because I think his hand was up absolutely first. And you're in the front row, so you deserve some. No, we have to use the mic so people can hear you in the back. And let's just make sure it's turned on before we. Can we switch microphones? Do you mind? We want to make sure the people in the very back row can hear you. So.
Thank you. Thanks. I just had two quick questions. You said everything was very quick on this when you were filming. So I was just wondering how many days you actually filmed, what your shooting schedule was, and if you could tell us, if you don't mind, maybe an approximate budget, how much you spent on it. If you don't want to say that, I understand.
Okay. The ready for the pre-production is 4 or 5 months, and shooting a live action scene is like 45 days.
Wow.
And then we started the post-production, and we found we have to reshooting for several pieces. It's like 2 weeks reshoot it, the live action scene, and post-production was almost 2 years.
Wow.
And the budget is $7 million.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of that.
And if I could just ask really quickly, if you have seen and if you were influenced at all by Gainax's Furikuri?
Very much, yes. Right?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Very cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Because, Gainax came from the, kind of the, the production of the Tsuburaya, the kaiju movie stuff. So that's why my generation is the 70s. Very big influence came from the, the same stuff is the Godzilla stuff, like Ultraman or kind of, the people. That's why, my storyline, very big influence came from the Mr. Kinjo, this scenario writer. He came from the Okinawa. So at the moment was Okinawa area is under control in the U.S. and this is not in Japan. That means that this scenario writer having a big complex, getting a success in a scenario writer in Japan, but he is not Japanese people. But Okinawa, the history is really sad story in Japan, Okinawa, prefecture. It's kind of really twisted concept he has. That's why. Not just optimist, storyline. And then the Ultraman series was very realistic, I thought. So, and then the Gainax, the animation like Evangelion or like Mr. Hideaki Anno was, maybe touch with feeling, something like that, Yeah. So, but, same time to, we don't give up, want, a little bit, right? We have to keep the hope.
All right, thank you. Let's go almost all the way to the back, third from the back row, in the center.
リアムじゃん。
Oh, thank you. I was wondering if you've seen the new Godzilla film.
Yeah, I saw that. Impressive because
liked it?
opening sequence was almost my curating show Little Boy, like kind of the memory of the nuclear power experiment. So and also the all situation is very respect from the 70s Japanese kaiju movie stuff, and also the the director of the Mr. Higuchi's new Gamera series. So we understanding for the how respect from the Japanese kaiju movie, and also the like this director is really nice direction for the revival for the fresh air. So like a CGI, but CGI between the kind of the suits acting. So I was super impressed, and I want to see again. Yeah, honestly, yes. At the same time, like I'm very embarrassing for my small budget movie. So I want, if one day I want to get to the high budget movie like that, Godzilla stuff. This is great.
A couple rows behind the person who just asked the question, there's a question.
Hi, you mentioned that the original idea for Jellyfish Boy was this old emaciated man. I was wondering if you were going to expand on that side of Jellyfish Boy or take on the dark motifs like that.
なんかその前はなんですごいおじいさんだかっていうと、その日本の社会の中の得意点をやっぱり作んなきゃいけなくて、やっぱり老人っていうのがその日本のその10年前はね、日本の社会の中で得意点を探そうとすると子供ではなくて老人だったので、それでクラゲ坊は老人にしたんですが、むしろその震災の時にすごく活躍したのは若者は若者で活躍しましたが、むしろ老人で、老人がやっぱりその昔の混乱時を覚えていて、どうやったらそのもう一回地域社会を構築するかで、みんなで力を合わせてその苦難から立ち上がるかということをすごくこうロジカルにし始めて、そうするとその人たちが社会の得意点ではなくて、むしろ彼らがその中心になってしまったので、得意点は逆に子どもたち、教育を変に受けてない、あんまりこういい教育というか、その助け合いとかっていうその教育をあんまり受けてない子どもたちの方が得意点だと思い、でその子どもに近い形でクラゲ部を設定し直しました。
So originally, the reason why I was thinking about the character as these emaciated old man is because at that time, 10 years ago, when I looked for something unique and sort of peripheral and marginalized in Japan, they were the old people back then, and then so that's why I was interested in that type of character. But after the earthquake and tsunami, the people who really were active and positively contributed to the revitalization and restructuring of the community, and try to work the regional communities together to come back, were actually the old people, because the old people probably had a lot of memory of the more confusing, troubled time, and they knew what they could do to make it happen. So it turns out that they were no longer peripheral, but they became more central to the community. And when I thought about then what is now unique and sort of marginalized in the society, it might be now younger children who still haven't gone through education so much, and that's why the character became more of a cute, young feel character.
So we're going to come down here. We'll start in the fourth rows. We need the microphone down here, and then we'll go towards the center. And then we'll go to you as well. So row 4 first, and then we'll go across. Hi.
Hi. Both Saki and Ko's friends are very different visually from the rest of the children's. Would you be able to explain the significance of this and why you chose to give those two characters such different monsters?
Yeah, good question. Because the friend is very small, but this two character is big. That means how big is sadness in heart. Does this character Saki is, Saki is a main character in the part 2. So how big the sadness in her mind is, looks as how big, this is exactly the her heart emptiness. And also the Cole is, geek because he doesn't have a parents and he already gave up to in a real life. That's why he have to create it for the, something, many monsters, friends. And he, his device having, many icon. That means he has a tons pieces, something like that, ladies, the beautiful lady. So that is his, also the emptiness is a big. That is a sign. Next question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go here to the center, and then we'll come back around. Right in the third row.
Hi. So when you have all these kids playing with these characters, are you thinking of maybe making a game, a mobile game or a computer game?
No, because because I have no skill about. I cannot enjoying for the game stuff. Like this is my generation is too old, and past generation the game was like kind of the. How can I say Mario or something? I did, but I was not good player. That's why I gave up. So somebody to create it for the game is good, but I'm not myself.
There's a gentleman in the second row over here.
Hi. Which towns did you shoot in, and did you shoot the film in, and why did you choose those towns?
設定で、ちゃんとは言ってないんですけど、その学園都市で日本に筑波っていう町があるんですけど、学園都市で自殺者がすごく多いっていう事実があるんですよね。研究施設がいっぱいあって、その研究するのにはすごく充実した作業環境があるにもかかわらず、学生も先生もいっぱい自殺すると。そこにゴーストが集まるっていう自分の中での妄想があったんですけれども、このストーリーの中でもなぜか学校と研究室が合体していて、多分皆さんの中では混乱していると思うんですが、学園祭をやっているところに宗教団体がアタックしていって、ここが研究所よってさきちゃんが言いますが、つまりそういう学園都市の中にそういう学生の妄想力が世界の大きな力を導き出すとともに、その破壊へも導いてしまうっていうそういうパラドックスを込めたので、言ってみれば筑波っていう町がモデルになってます。
So I don't specifically state this anywhere in the film or in the surrounding document or anything, but there is a real existing town called Tsukuba, and it's a college town, and it has a lot of research facilities and universities, and it's just a really ideal environment for people to perform researches. But for some reason, there's a lot of suicide that happens there, even though the environment is very ideal for them to conduct research. Somehow, both the teachers, instructors, and students commit suicide there. So there's this idea. I just have this idea about maybe there'll be a lot of ghosts in that town. So you might be confused that in the movie there's this university, but then that's sort of also that is also a research center. So where there's a school festival going on and the cult. People are coming there to protest, and then Saki says this is the research center, so it might be very confusing for you. But I just thought that where these research goes on, new ideas are born, the young students' mind are there, and it's a place for potentially creating something great, new ideas and forwarding the society, but at the same time it could lead to destruction or some sort of disaster. So that's why it's based on the city Tsukuba.
Did you have a question? Yeah. Okay, we'll go here, and then we're done.
Okay. My question to you is, what was it like collaborating with Kanye West on his graduation album?
That is a very strange, experience because he came my studio because he want to see my, big breast sculpture. This is his request, and Kanye West is a very famous hip hop singer, and he want to see your sculpture, and you can ready for that. And at the moment is coincidence. We already pack up for this sculpture because I kind of the renovation. So and then yes, I say yes, and he came my studio and taking a photo. Looks like a 200 pieces this sculpture. So and then very quiet. And he go back. And then, oh, this is bad reaction, I thought. But 3 months later, he came back to the contact, and I want to go back to your studio, and if I can talking about something. And then, but he came my studio, again quiet, and 2 hours, 3 hours quiet. And he watching for my studio, and oh, this is cool, this is fresh. He said anytime fresh. That is a good sign, right? So then, oh, this is fresh. Wow, this is fresh. Whoa, fresh. And then, I collecting for the fresh images and give to him. And then he go out. And another, 2 months, 3 months, he came back. Something like that, spend a lot of time. And then he decided for the, album design for offer to us, and the music clip is offered to us. But that when we created for these visual image, that moment was very long time, like taking us 2-3 years, very long, and he cannot say yes. Like I gave for him like a tons pieces, but quiet, and sometimes fresh, and then. And then, okay, so he liked that, and, I have to making arrangement a little bit. And then, we done, 3 years project.
Very cool. All right, just one more here in the fifth row.
Hi. So it seems like the earthquake had a big effect on the making of this movie. How has it impacted you yourself personally and maybe going forward artistically?
2つあって、一つはやっぱりアーティストっていうのはアクティブに社会に影響力のある行動をすることができない人種なんだなっていうことが一つ。で、二つ目はでもそういう時に僕らみたいな人種がやれることというのは、要するに方便というか、何かお話を作って、人々を救済するというか、救済というか、現実からちょっと目をそらして楽しい気持ちにさせたり、共感させたり、泣かせてあげて、彼らを少し慰安するというか、癒してあげるっていうことが僕らの仕事だなって思って、でもそんな時に宗教の役割もなんか発見したような気がして、アーティストの仕事っていうのはそういう慰安すること、でも宗教家はもっと彼らの心の深くまで届くような救済みたいなことを考えられるのかなと思って、なので基本的には僕らは何の役にも立たなかったんだけれども、そういったちょっとしたことで彼らというか僕ら自身もそうなんですけれども、そういう震災があった人たちの助けになるような仕事というのでリアリティを感じたりしました。
So there are two things that I actually, that was my personal reaction to the earthquake. One is that, artists in general, including myself, I felt that they're creatures that cannot really actively influence society in this kind of situation in an effective way. But and then the second is that in that situation, still there are things that we can do, and it's sort of like creating a white lie or a narrative with which people can be not quite saved, but maybe make them avert eyes from the harsh reality a little bit, make them feel happy, make them think of different things, and so to help them heal a little bit. And so I thought that might be the work of an artist in this kind of situation. And at the same time, I thought that I discovered the real roles of religion as well a little bit. And while the artist may be able to contribute in the healing process, maybe the religion can, save people in a deeper way. So basically, I feel like as an artist, I might be useless, but I can do these little things, and these little things can help people and also myself, doing these acts. And so in that, I started to feel like there are some real reality in what I can do.
That's why that in this story having a whole packaging for my idea, so you can see as a cult religion people, so is active for the attack for some kind of the strange experiment for the school. So that how can I say, like in a society in Japan doesn't have a reality in religion. But sometimes we have a big happening in cult religion. So in Japan, that's why I am putting this idea, the Jellyfish Eyes.
Well, we've really enjoyed having Takashi Murakami here today, this afternoon here at the Film Society, and I want to thank him for being here. Before he leaves, we're going to send him off, and he has to get across the street. So if you don't mind just staying in your seats so he can make his way across the street, we'd really appreciate that. But as he does head across the street, let's thank him for sharing this fresh film with us and these amazing characters. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.